Welcome to the Brand Theory Podcast, the podcast for helping you uncover your passion, realize your purpose, and take the aligned action. Together, we're going to prove the theory that when we live our lives on brand, the possibilities become limitless. I'm your host, Danielle Marquesi, branding expert and business coach. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Brand Theory Podcast. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a really great day. This week, we're going to get into how to navigate some fears that come up when we decide to make a shift in our lives to start living a bit more on brand. And before we get into the episode, I just wanted to tell you guys that next week on Tuesday, June 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be hosting a free masterclass about how to bring in consistent 5K months into your online service-based business. Now, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who are just starting out or entrepreneurs who have been in the business a little bit too long. And I've been hearing a lot of people say they're sick of this kind of yo-yo income that's been coming in. Sometimes they hit a 5K mark. Sometimes they just hit a 1K mark. Maybe they haven't even hit 1K yet in their business or coming in per month. Maybe they haven't hit 5K. Maybe they've hit beyond that, but it was really kind of a one-hit wonder. So I've decided to kind of formulate a bit of a roadmap that can be completely customized to you and your goals and your own financial goals to be able to bring in those 5K months or beyond way more consistently. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, you can go to the show notes. I'll link the sign up sheet below, or you can go to my Instagram, Danielle_Marquesi, and it is the first link in my link tree. And I feel like I say this every time I host a free training or masterclass, but this is the most excited I've been to host a free masterclass, free training, just because I know what that's like. I know that frustration that you can feel when you're working so hard. You're kind of feeling a little bit burnt out. You're just not sure what's not working. You feel like something isn't clicking. You feel like something is missing from the formula. And it's not that something's missing. It's probably you already know what you're doing. It's just kind of reworking what you're already doing and figuring out exactly your customized roadmap based on your specific goals. So head to the link in the bio, and I will see you next week on Tuesday, June 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But now let's get into this episode. So in the theme of living more on brand, we need to start listening to that little voice inside our head that's letting us know we're ready for more. Whether you're in a 9-to-5 right now and you want to start a business, or if it's really just living more on brand for a healthy lifestyle. You want to start working out more, eating more healthy. It could be anything. You want to start a blog. You want to start a podcast. You want to start a YouTube channel. You want to start that side hustle while you're still working a 9-to-5, or maybe you're not working right now and you just are looking for something else to do and you have kind of got this idea, but you're a little bit scared. It could be starting your own design business, starting your own coaching business, anything and everything that you're thinking about it, but there's those fears that are starting to creep in, and those are keeping you from making the transition to start living your on-brand life. We start thinking, well, maybe we're not good enough, or maybe somebody wouldn't even pay me for that, or who am I to do that, or I'll probably just fail, or I'll probably, start eating healthy for 3 weeks and then fall off the bandwagon, so I might as well just not start, it's fine, I'm not that unhealthy. We start making up these excuses in our heads, right? But here's the thing about when we start something and when we really make that transition and that big switch to live more on brand. First, it's kind of its own slow transition, so it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. And number two, it's just the first chapter. This is this first chapter in your new life, your new transition, your new on-brand life. And in order to get to that middle of the book where it's the storyline's super compelling and you can't put it down, you have to get through the first chapter. And the first chapter could be riveting and it could really hook you, but you have to keep reading, right? You have to keep reading to get to the end of the story, the middle of the story. You have to keep going to get to the middle of your story. But if you don't initially start and you're just assuming that you're going to fail, or you're assuming that people aren't going to want to pay you for your services or be a part of your business or be a part of your YouTube channel or be a part of your podcast community, you're making those assumptions before you even start. You're self-sabotaging yourself. Who are you not to do this? Another thing I hear a lot is, well, what if I mess up? You should mess up. You have to mess up it's all messing up is part of the learning process. You're going to mess up those first couple YouTube videos. You're going to mess up those first couple of podcast episodes. You're going to have some typos in your first couple of emails that go out. You maybe not going to love how you sound in your first lives on Instagram when you're talking about your newest coaching programs. But people love to hear the progression of your story. They love to hear how you were when you first started out and where you are now in the middle of your story or towards the end of your story. I don't think our stories really end. I think they just keep progressing, right? But people are inspired by these mess ups. People are inspired by your progression. So think about it like this. The longer that you put off starting this thing, especially if it's in a position to inspire others, or to motivate others, or to teach somebody something to a community, to share value with the community, you are holding back the delivery of this information. So what if this information can change somebody's life? What if this information can influence somebody else to start living more on brand, or start living more healthy, or start making that transition from taking their side hustle into a full-time gig that will allow them to leave their 9-to-5 and allow them to live this freedom lifestyle that they want so much? By you holding back and by you not doing the thing, you're doing a disservice to other people. It's not just about you, it's about other people too. There's no perfect time to start. Honestly, the perfect time is probably yesterday. The perfect time is right now. The perfect time is tomorrow. The perfect time doesn't exist. Starting now will allow you to build up the momentum, the community, the confidence to get you to that place where you want to be. In order to get to the community that hangs on every word, to get the community that can't wait to watch our YouTube channels, to get to the point where we put out an offer and people are jumping on the offer right away, we need to start. We need to start writing that first couple of chapters. And here's the other thing. There's nothing wrong with being scared. You honestly should be scared. That's how you know it's worth it. That's how you know that this is something that you truly means something to you. But we also don't need to let the self-doubt and the fear stand in our way from initially starting and allowing us to get to that middle part of the story. So here's what I want you to do. Ask yourself where you are a year from now when you go for it, when you take the leap and make the transition to live more on brand, when you start the YouTube channel, the podcast, the side hustle, when you let all the fears and self-doubt talk kind of get pushed to the side a little bit and you just take that initial action. What becomes possible for you? Really paint that picture and get super connected to this in as much detail as possible. What are you wearing? What are you doing? Where are you? Who are you with? How have your relationships changed, both romantic and just friendships with your family even? What has changed? How have you changed? How are you feeling? What is your mood like? What's your daily routine like? Really get super detailed and connected with this. Now imagine your life a year from now if you don't start. What's your life like? How has it not changed? Are you in the same headspace? Are you in the same space? Are you at the same job? Are you in the same house? Are you still wishing that something would change? Nothing is going to change unless we take action to change it. And it all starts one step at a time. All starts with that initial action. All starts with a decision to live more on brand, to live more aligned with the purpose and passion that we have, to answer to that voice that keeps knocking at us. And when we can no longer ignore it, taking that first step, one foot in front of the other, right? I want you to use this bigger vision, this year from now vision, to get excited and to push you forward and to inspire you to take those first initial action steps. I actually would encourage you to write this vision down, or to write a bigger vision for yourself down and use this as motivation. So if you need to read this every day in the morning when you get up, or every day that you're working on your business, use it as inspiration, use it as your motivation, and use it to push you forward on those tougher days when you're just too tired or you just feel like it's not going to work out. Use that vision to push you forward. And also, one more note. I know I said imagine your life a year from now, but I also want you to know that things can change very quickly once you make that initial decision to make the change. And once you start taking those initial first action steps, things can happen for you very, very quickly. With that, I will say goodbye and thank you for listening. If you like this episode, be sure to share it with a friend, a family member who is on the path of trying to live more on brand and making that transition. I would love for you to tell me what you thought of this episode. Take a screenshot, share it in your stories. Be sure to tag me, and I will always, always, always reshare and make sure we are having and continuing this conversation on all platforms. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.